guys, thanks for joining me tonight. And this evening I'm doing a bit of a review to check out how this new camera is sounding and looking. And that's the Insta360 Go3. And I wanted to also take this opportunity to review the car and talk about over 2 years of ownership now. So let's go ahead. We're gonna be going through Vancouver here. It's nice and it's not raining. That's a 50-50 thing in this city. So it's nice and dry and should be a good drive. One of the things about this car is you see the stratified start. When you start the car from a cold start, it revs up to sometimes almost 2000 RPM, and it's very loud. It's kind of rough, and it does that to warm up the catalytic converters and the engine. Anyhow, open road. Wow, so nice without traffic right now. So yeah, it's been about just over 2 years and 32,000 kilometers. And that's right around 20,000 miles. So 32,000 kilometers or 20,000 miles. And I'm really enjoying the car as before. In some of my earlier videos, like from a year and a half ago, you've seen me do these pulls, and I think I did it when I wasn't tuned, or I wasn't tuned to this stage, to this fuel and whatever. And currently peaking at 17 psi and hitting 14-15 psi pretty easily on the rise, and then the peak, as you can see, is 17.7 right now. And that's about like 30% more than stock tune. So that's been super enjoyable over this time to tune the car in that way, and that was done just using the Cobb access port, and then the Drunkman tuning, D-Man tuning, stage 1 tune for 93 octane. And I specifically use Shell 93. Here in Canada, you know, I found out that fuel is pretty regional in terms of like the content of it. And anyways, here in Vancouver I use Shell 93. It's got a little bit of ethanol in it. Other than the tune, and on the engine, I didn't really do much in terms of, I didn't do anything in terms of modifications, other than taking off that carbon filter from the air filter, the air intake filter. Other than that, it's all stock. You can hear that the axle back is not, so that's the ETS axle back muffler. And I love the sound of it. I know they're all those aftermarkets, they all sound pretty different. I don't have a resonator or anything else. It's just the axle back that's changed. And other than that, and if you follow the channel for a while, you know that I'm also lowered now on springs. Lowered about 1.5 inches or so. And yeah, that's really helping, like around corners. Even right here, going around this corner, you know, I can feel it. It does feel different than the stock, and it's improved. Now, I hopped into a stock WRX just earlier today, and you do feel that they're a bit more comfortable. I was thinking for a while that the springs didn't really make it any less comfortable, but it's maybe a little more, it's a bit more rough than stock. So let's see what we can do here from a red light. I'll turn off the traction control, or at least I'll go to the track mode. Alright, that was something. I didn't want to give it too much gas. I didn't really want to spin the wheels, but I actually did feel them begin to spin. So that was not bad. Other than, you know, the engine taking a little bit of that speed, or the clutch, I didn't want to completely dump it. But yeah, back to the tune, just because it's such an important thing to me, the way that I drive, you can tell. Or anyways, it was a very important thing to me, and it adds a lot of power, and it kind of gives it that characteristic, or that power that you get, you know, in stock form at 5,000 to 6,000 RPMs at the higher end. I feel like that's what I'm getting at 3,500 to 4,500, and again, that's more in line with what the STI felt like, although the characteristic of it all is still different. So the shifter is completely stock still. Actually, sorry, other than the shift stop, there's a shift stop here for first and second, so that the shift lever doesn't go too much to the left. So it feels nice and firm, first to second. It's very easily slotted now. But otherwise, it's stock other than this, the shift knob. And that's an accessory, actually. You can see it's the STI shift knob. I also have a video about that. I think it's about 200 grams, a little more than the stock. So that helps a little bit. But other than that, it's stock and it feels great. Another thing that I've noticed about the stick shift is it's gotten a little better over time. It slots into gear more easily. It's not as notchy. From the factory, the car is very notchy getting into first, second, and reverse gear is very notchy. Sometimes reverse gear is crazy. You have to take it way to the right before you pull sort of like into 6. Mine was never that bad, but anyways, it's gotten better, and kind of, I guess it's just a wearing of it. It's worn, and it slots more easily. It's smoother. So a little bit of a sound mod, power mod. Some aesthetics as well, and you may have heard the pop just now. I love that, and that's just from the axle back, and the tune. The tune helps with that because it pushes more power through it. And with the manual transmission, it's just so rewarding, you know, to hear this coasting sound. You can hear the drivetrain, the noise of it. forcing it to remain in that high RPM, and then you have it right here. And oh, that felt great. So I'd say, you know, I'm still in love with the car. It's very hard to find, you know, a substitute. At the same time, it's, you know, other cars have their own strengths. Just getting into downtown here, it's really beautiful. So I'm looking around here for you. But yeah, the WRX just has such a unique combination of power, all-wheel drive, good size. With this generation, and at least for me so far, I'd say reliability as well. And I should be checking the oil more often, but the times that I do check it, unless I'm almost due for oil change, the oil stays nice and clear for quite a while, and there's minimal burning that I've noticed, at least so far. And again, it could change, but this is 20,000 miles, 30,000 kilometers. It's an indication of something. Really no major issues, that's for sure. And I would say even in terms of minor issues with the functions of the car and mechanically, no issues, nothing really. Apart from, I think it's the driver rear shock was weeping or leaking a little bit, just a little bit. So at one of my services, one of the oil changes at the dealership, they noticed that and they fixed it right away. They got a new part and they installed it, all free under warranty. And it was a very minor seepage, I was told. So yeah, I'd say so far, having a car like this for 2 years, and a sporty car at that, and one that, you know, I've kind of played around with and modified and really driven it pretty well. It's very hardy. Now, granted, I baby the car. I look at it all the time. I care for it. I do the oil changes early. But it's the WRX that's doing the magic. Alright, let's go from third to second here. Bit of a tricky intersection, but as you can see, it's pretty late at night here. That's alright, right? And again, going back to the car and the choice of car and, you know, my personal experience, the uniqueness of the car, it extends to other strengths, and this is general Subaru stuff, but the visibility in the vehicle is pretty amazing. The stock height, it's nice that from factory they come with a very good amount of ground clearance, especially for a sports car, and some people use that for rally racing or going on dirt and whatnot. I've lowered mine, so I went the other way, but I've always appreciated that with Subaru, even when I had the 2020 STI. I used to have one, if you guys don't know, and that had a little less, tiny bit less ground clearance in this car in stock form, but I always appreciated that it was good enough that it remained practical. And the screen here, I'm enjoying. I've really gotten used to it. And again, in terms of practicality, one of the things that this does really well is, of course, the large display, and therefore maps. Google Maps and Apple CarPlay just displays so well on this car. I remember with previous generation WRXs, if you got the smaller screen, you could miss a turn on those Google Maps. They were so small, you couldn't really do two things at once, or have that and some other control going, music for example, whereas here you can. You can use that split screen Apple CarPlay interface to show multiple things, but the idea is that the screen is just large enough where just the map here displays like perfectly. Now, granted, you know how the way that I love this car, it has come about after the modifications or with the modifications. Even without them, you know, whenever I hop into a stock WRX and just drive it around, especially the 2024s, the braking system is a little bit improved, steering is a little bit improved. You can tell that the engineers have tweaked it a little bit and reworked on things. But even jumping into a stock WRX, you still feel the power. I still feel the power. I still feel the preciseness of the steering, and just the feel and the drivability is very good. And with something like the new TR, the Canadian RS, that one has the large Brembo brakes, massive Brembo brakes, I should say, and the Recaro seats, and that car feels even a step above. I wish I had those brakes, but at the same time, for the type of driving that I do, I really wouldn't use those brakes to their full capacity. Thursday night here in Vancouver downtown. Beautiful night. And I think that's all for today. I'll be signing off here. And I hope you guys enjoyed the footage. I hope you like this new camera that I'm using. Again, it's the Insta360 Go3. Really nice small camera, easy to mount. I have it right now on my hat and giving you this point of view. Alright, so thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.